Shut up and sit down.
Oh, hello and welcome to a North Wales side-by-side video. I got myself banned from a car dealership today. And you've probably heard me talk about the problem with Ford EcoBoost engines. Overheating, cracking cylinder heads, wet timing belts stripping. Well, a friend of mine who's been a Ford loyal customer for years and years and years, in 2019 bought an ST Fiesta, or an ST line Fiesta, I think it is, with the 1 litre EcoBoost engine in it. And she loves the car. She absolutely loves it. It's a pretty looking car. So she bought it in 2019, and we all know what happened in 2020. COVID. We had lockdown after lockdown and after lockdown, and it caused chaos in the motor industry. Garages were shut, you couldn't get your cars in for service, you couldn't go and buy a new car, and then in the periods between the lockdowns we were heavily restricted. And somewhere in one of the periods between lockdowns, she wanted the car servicing. But she was in the same boat as everybody else. Other people wanted their car servicing, and it was first come, first serve. You might get a booking, which she did. She got 2 or 3 bookings, and they couldn't keep up with the number of customers that they had on backlog from when we were in lockdown. So 2020, her poor car never got a service. She wasn't really too worried about it at the time because, like a lot of people, she was at home on furlough, she wasn't using the car, she didn't do next to no miles in the car that particular year. 2021 comes, she gets a service done on it. She's back in work, so she's using the car regular. 22, she gets a service on it. She's running around using the car. Come 2023, about a month ago, sometime back early May, she has her yearly service done on the car, and a couple of weeks later the car just stops in a cloud of steam on the motorway. She's going to work. She ends up having to get the car recovered, misses half a day in work, car goes into Ford. Because the car's still in warranty, she's thinking, I've got no problems, Ford will look after me, I'm a loyal customer, I've always bought cars off them. And now Ford get in touch with her 4 or 5 days after the car was delivered to them to tell her that the engine needed replacing. The wet belt had failed, and the engine was basically scrap. Car needs a new engine. And they presented her with a quote for over £6,000 to replace an engine in a car that's still under warranty. So she asks me to go to Ford's with her, because a lady on her own trying to talk to a dealership, and they're just going to try and bamboozle her. So I went with her. And one of the technicians and the service manager came to talk to us, and he explains to us that Ford are not going to honour the warranty on this particular Ford Fiesta. Why? Because she missed a service in 2020, and because she missed that service, Ford say she hasn't kept up with the service schedule. It's an absolute load of bollocks. The car did next to no miles in 2020. It's on record that she tried to book it in, and every time her booking come, they weren't working, garage was shut, they were on lockdown. When she finally got it in, like I said, it was 2021. So Ford are trying to give her the runaround, and I got quite vocal in the dealership because we were stood in the sales department when the technician and the service manager came over to talk to us, and there were people in the dealership doing deals on new cars, and I started spouting out to Ford about all the issues that they're having with the EcoBoost engines, and I started quoting hammer and tongue at this service manager, and then I started telling him about a Facebook group, the Ford EcoBoost Nightmare or something like that, the Facebook group is called. And I was trying to show him my phone of all the problems that people are having with these EcoBoosts and all the problems they're having with Ford. And I'm not joking when I say there will be 4 or 5 new posts on a daily basis on this Facebook page of people who have had a Ford fail, and Ford are wiping their hands and presenting them with massive bills. Like I said, I got quite vocal with the guy. I ended up being escorted out of the dealership and told I'm not welcome ever back in that dealership. I thought that was really heavy-handed, and all I was trying to do was help a friend. I don't know if it's going to get her anywhere, or if she's going to get her car fixed by Ford. But when I went back out into the car park because we got in my Toyota down to this dealership, and a gentleman came out with his wife, and he was one of the people I'd noticed who's now said to the salesman, look, I'm going out to think about buying this car that he was looking at buying. And he came over and he approached me and he started asking me questions because he'd overheard the heated discussion that was going on in the dealership between me, technician, service manager. And he asked me, what is the problem with Ford engines? So I started showing him on my phone all the issues with the engine. And he's like, well, I've had Fords for a long, I've never had any problems with. And I says, well, what are you driving now? He says, well, it's a Zetec powered Focus, but it's 2007. I said, well, if I was you, I'd either do one of two things: keep the car and run it into the ground, or walk down to Premier Toyota, go and have a look at an Aygo or a Yaris Hybrid, because I guarantee you won't have any issues with, 1, the dealership, 2, you won't have any issues with the Toyota. I says they'll run and run and run for years. And he got back into his Focus and he left the dealership. So I think that dealership's lost a potential sale, because this guy was a little bit shocked about what he'd overheard. And I'm not bothered that I've been banned, because I wouldn't buy a Ford if it was the last car manufacturer on the planet. I wouldn't touch one with a barge pole. I wouldn't go anywhere near them. So any of you out there who've got Yaris's and you're whinging about the 12 volt battery issue that our Yaris's have got, we know it's an issue, but like I've said in previous videos, our issue is minor and it's all down to car usage. You've got to use them, you've got to drive them, but it's a minuscule problem when you compare it to the Ford EcoBoost problem. So the only other issue I've got with being banned from this dealership, I wanted to test a Renault Clio hybrid. This dealership sells Dacias, Renaults and Fords. So I'm not going to get a chance now to test drive anything in that dealership. So I've got to find another Renault dealership that's not in this group of garages to try and get a test drive in a Clio hybrid, because I would like to try one and see how it compares to a Yaris. So I'm going to have to get on the net and find a dealership who's independent of the one I've just been banned from, because I know this dealership's got a couple of branches around North Wales. So as things stand, until I can find a dealership, there won't be a Renault Clio hybrid test drive. And that is why I've been banned from a Ford dealership for having a heated discussion and being overheard by the sales team and people potentially buying cars. They did not like somebody telling the truth about the issues with Ford engines, and I don't give a flying hoots who heard me, what was said, or anything. I don't care, because I quite enjoyed spouting all the problems with the EcoBoost engine, because Ford are just in total denial about it. Anyhow, thanks for listening to me witter on once again, and all I was trying to do was help somebody. Not as successful as helping my friend buy a Yaris. That video's coming on Friday when we do the handover, and that's one I'm looking forward to doing. So thank you very much. If you've enjoyed the video, consider thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, and let me see who else and what other dealerships I can get banned from in the future from spouting off problems with another manufacturer's cars in the dealership whilst they're trying to do sales. Because I'm going to have a crack at Land Rover and Jaguar next. That's my next port of call. And see if I can get banned from a Land Rover Jaguar dealership, because I think I probably can. Thanks for watching.